There comes a moment in every woman's life when God is about to move in a mighty way. It's a moment filled with promise, filled with anticipation, but also filled with unseen signs. You might be sitting there today, feeling like you've been overlooked, like you've been waiting forever, and yet you're on the verge of something big. I'm here to tell you, when God is about to bless a woman with something big, He doesn't keep it a secret. There are signs, clear and powerful signs, that precede every big blessing. But here's the question. Are you paying attention to those signs? Are you recognizing the divine movements around you? If you stay with me through this message, you'll not only understand what these signs are, but you'll also know how to prepare yourself for what God is about to do in your life. This is a message you do not want to miss. If you've been wondering whether your blessing is coming, I assure you, these signs will confirm that God is about to move in ways you've only dreamed of. The first sign that God is about to bless you is an inner stirring. It's that feeling deep within your spirit, something that moves you, something that makes you feel that change is coming. It's subtle, but undeniable. You may not see the physical manifestation of your blessing yet, but inside, something is stirring, preparing you for what's to come. This inner stirring is God's way of getting your heart ready for a shift. It's a moment when you feel the calling to step out in faith, to trust Him on a deeper level. You might even feel unsettled or restless, as if you know you're on the brink of a new season. This is God aligning your heart with His purpose for your life. As you move closer to the blessing God has in store for you, you'll experience a peace that surpasses understanding. Life may seem chaotic, full of challenges and struggles, but despite the storms around you, you'll have an unexplainable peace in your heart. The peace isn't logical. It doesn't make sense in the face of adversity, but it's there, guarding your heart and mind. This peace is a sign that God is with you, preparing you for something greater than you can imagine. It's God reminding you that His blessing comes with His peace, even in the most turbulent times. If you found yourself in this place of peace, know that it's a powerful sign of His work in your life. Another sign that God is about to bless you is the opening of doors that you never thought possible. Opportunities will begin to appear where once there were none. You may be surprised by how suddenly and unexpectedly doors start to open in your life. These are the opportunities that seem too good to be true, but they are God's divine provision. He is moving in your life, arranging things in ways you couldn't have planned or imagined. These doors could come in the form of new relationships, unexpected career opportunities, or financial blessings. They are all part of the bigger picture that God is unfolding in your life. When you see doors opening like this, it's a clear sign that God is preparing to bless you in ways that you couldn't have anticipated. Before God blesses you with something big, He will first raise the level of your faith. You might find that what you once thought was impossible suddenly seems within reach. God will test your faith to see if you can believe in the blessing, even when it seems far off. As your faith grows, so will your ability to trust in God's promises. You will no longer just have faith for the small things. You'll have faith for the impossible. This rising of faith is a sign that God is strengthening you for the blessing that's coming. It's not just about believing that God can do something. It's about believing that He will do it, and that He has already begun the work in your life. Often before God blesses a woman with something big, there is a season of isolation. It may feel like you're alone, or that you've been set apart from others. But this isolation is not punishment. It's preparation. God uses this time to mold you, to strengthen you, and to help you grow into the person you need to be in order to receive the blessing He has in store for you. You might feel disconnected or misunderstood, but know that God is using this time to shape your character, to refine your spirit, and to help you align your heart with His will. This isolation is a sacred time of intimacy with God, where He can work in your life without distractions. Another sign that God is about to bless you is the test of endurance. You may find yourself in a season where everything feels hard, where nothing seems to be going the way you expected. This is the time when your endurance will be tested. You will be tempted to give up, to throw in the towel, and to walk away from the dream. But God uses these tests to refine you, to prepare you to handle the blessing that is coming. The woman who can endure, who can keep her faith despite the challenges, is the one who is prepared to receive what God has for her. So if you find yourself struggling to keep going, don't despair. It's a sign that God is about to bless you with something bigger than you could ever imagine. Finally, one of the most powerful signs that God is about to bless you is the unseen hand of God moving in your life. You may not always see the direct work He's doing, but as you look back, you will begin to notice how He has orchestrated events, aligned people, and provided for you in ways you couldn't have planned. God is working behind the scenes, setting up everything for the perfect moment. When you start to notice these subtle but significant movements, you'll know that God is preparing you for a big blessing. It's His way of confirming that He is working all things together for your good. If you are seeing these signs today, take heart. God is on the move in your life. He is preparing you for something big, something beyond your imagination. Trust in His timing. Stay faithful. Keep your eyes open for the signs, and know that as you recognize them, you are aligning yourself with His perfect plan. Your blessing is on its way, and you are more than ready to receive it. When God is about to bless a woman with something big, the first sign she will experience is a deep inner stirring. This stirring isn't something that can easily be explained in logical terms, but it's a feeling that resonates deep within the soul. It's a quiet but powerful force that seems to nudge her toward a change, even though she may not yet understand exactly what that change will look like. It's like a seed being planted in her heart, one that will gradually grow into a full awareness of God's plan. This stirring is not just a fleeting thought or a temporary emotion. It's a call from within, a divine whisper that cannot be ignored. It starts small, perhaps a sense of discomfort with the status quo, a feeling that things aren't quite as they should be, but gradually it becomes louder, more undeniable. This stirring is often accompanied by a sense of longing, a desire for something more, something deeper. It's a recognition that there is more to life than what is currently being experienced. In those quiet moments, when a woman reflects on her life and her future, this stirring begins to take root. She may not know it yet, but God is preparing her for something extraordinary. It's not a feeling of dissatisfaction, but rather a sense that she is being called to a higher purpose, to something beyond herself. It's as if God is gently whispering to her soul, "You were made for more than this." At times, this inner stirring can feel unsettling. It may cause a woman to question the direction she is heading in life, or to feel out of place in her current circumstances. This is the moment when God is shifting her heart towards something new. It's a time of spiritual preparation, where the old is being stripped away to make room for the new. The stirring may even come with a sense of urgency, as if time is running out, and she needs to make a decision. But this isn't a sign of fear. It's a sign of God's guidance, pulling her closer to the blessing He has in store. As the stirring grows, she may find herself taking steps she never thought possible. Small changes begin to take place in her attitude, her outlook, and her actions. She might start to feel more courageous, more willing to step out of her comfort zone. This inner stirring compels her to act, to move forward in faith, even when the path ahead is unclear. It's as if the very core of her being is aligning with the divine plan, and every step she takes feels like a step towards something much bigger than herself. The stirring is God's way of preparing her heart, mind, and spirit for the big blessing that is about to come. It is the first sign that God is at work in her life, preparing her for the abundant blessings that are on the horizon. As God prepares to bless a woman with something big, another sign she will experience is an unexplainable peace in the midst of chaos. Life, as it often does, can throw curveballs that shake her world to its core. Unexpected trials, heartbreaking moments, and difficult circumstances. Yet in the middle of all this turmoil, she will find an overwhelming sense of peace that doesn't make sense in the natural. It's a peace that surpasses human understanding, one that doesn't rely on external factors to feel secure. Despite all the uncertainty and challenges around her, she will have an inner calm that holds her steady, a quiet assurance that everything is going to be okay. This peace comes from knowing that God is in control. It's a deep-rooted belief that no matter what's happening on the outside, God's hand is still at work behind the scenes. She may not see the outcome yet, or understand the full picture, but she will feel His presence in a way that assures her that He is handling every detail of her life. The peace that God gives isn't dependent on the circumstances, whether they are good or bad. Instead, it rests in the certainty that God is faithful, and His promises will come to pass. This peace is not something a woman can manufacture on her own. It is a divine gift, a part of the armor that God equips her with as she prepares for the blessings ahead. When everything around her seems to be falling apart, this peace will act as a shield, protecting her heart and mind from fear, anxiety, and doubt. It's a supernatural calm that defies logic, and it's one of the clearest signs that God is working in her life. The deeper the chaos around her, the more pronounced this peace will become. It's as if God is saying, "I've got this. You don't have to worry, for I am with you, and I am moving on your behalf." She will come to realize that this peace isn't just for the good times, but for the trials as well. When God is preparing to bless her, He doesn't leave her alone in her struggles. He covers her with peace, guarding her heart, and allowing her to continue moving forward in faith. This peace becomes a quiet strength that carries her through the most difficult moments. It doesn't mean she won't experience hardship. It means she will walk through it differently. Where others might be overwhelmed with stress and worry, she will feel the comforting presence of God, reminding her that her breakthrough is just on the other side. This unexplainable peace is God's way of reinforcing the truth that He is bigger than any challenge she may face, and He is setting the stage for the blessing He is about to pour out in her life. Another unmistakable sign that God is about to bless a woman with something big is the opening of doors in unexpected places. Life has a way of leading us through seasons where things feel stagnant, where progress seems impossible, and opportunities seem non-existent. But when God is preparing to bless a woman, the atmosphere around her begins to shift. She will start to notice that doors she once thought were closed are suddenly swinging wide open. Opportunities that seemed impossible or out of reach now seem to appear at the right time, in the right place, and with the right people. These doors open not by her own strength or effort, but by the divine hand of God orchestrating everything according to His will. The key to recognizing these open doors is understanding that they don't always look like what we expect. They might come in the form of new relationships, a sudden career opportunity, or even an unexpected financial breakthrough. It's easy to get caught up in what we think the blessing should look like, but often God's blessings come in the form of opportunities that we never anticipated. These are the moments when a woman is presented with the kind of chance that only God could have orchestrated. It might be a promotion at work that seems to come out of nowhere, or a relationship that unexpectedly brings her closer to her purpose. Whatever it is, it's a clear sign that God is working behind the scenes, creating paths where none seemed possible. The interesting thing about these open doors is that they often require us to step out in faith. They may not come with a map or a detailed explanation. The door may open, but the path ahead might still be unclear. It is at this point that God is calling her to trust Him, to take that step forward, without knowing exactly where it will lead. These moments test faith, because the natural instinct might be to hesitate, to stay in the comfort zone, or to fear what lies on the other side. But when a woman recognizes that these doors are divinely opened, she will find the courage to walk through them, trusting that God is guiding her every step of the way. Sometimes the open doors come when she least expects them, perhaps when she feels least prepared or most unsure. This is when God's timing becomes so evident. What might have seemed like a setback or delay in the past now looks like the perfect opportunity to move forward. It's as if God was simply waiting for the right moment to present His perfect plan. For the woman who is ready to recognize and act on these open doors, great blessings await her. These doors are not just about the blessings she can see, but also about her stepping into a new season of growth, favor, and purpose. As the woman walks through these doors, she will realize that they were not just about new opportunities, but also about divine alignment. Every relationship, every opportunity, and every new path will fit perfectly with the bigger picture that God has been preparing for her. She'll look back and see how every step, every open door led her closer to the blessings God had in store for her. These open doors are not coincidences. They are signs from God, showing that He is moving in her life, preparing her for something far beyond what she could have ever imagined. Before God blesses a woman with something big, He will first raise the level of her faith. This is often a subtle yet powerful shift that begins to take place within her. Faith, as it is commonly understood, isn't just about believing that God can do something. It's about believing that He will do it. It's not just about trust in the past, but trust in the future, in things that haven't yet materialized. As God prepares her for a significant blessing, her faith must be strengthened and stretched to align with the magnitude of what He is about to bring into her life. Faith is the key to receiving God's promises. And before she can walk into the fullness of her blessing, her faith needs to grow to the place where it can hold all that God is about to pour out. This process of growing faith often starts with small steps. It may be as simple as believing God for the next step, even when the bigger picture isn't clear. It's during these times that a woman may start to see her faith increase in seemingly simple ways. Perhaps she finds herself praying bolder prayers, asking God for things that once seemed impossible. Maybe she's reading the Bible and hearing God's promises in a new way, with a deeper understanding of His ability to make those promises a reality in her life. This increased faith comes not from the external circumstances, but from the growing confidence in God's Word. The more she hears and reflects on His promises, the more her faith rises to meet them. As this happens, she may also begin to feel a shift in her mindset. What once seemed daunting or impossible is now seen as an opportunity for God to show His power. She may begin to see challenges not as obstacles, but as stepping stones, understanding that these very trials are opportunities for her faith to grow and deepen. She may feel a renewed sense of courage, knowing that God will never leave her or forsake her. This rising faith will help her to face the challenges ahead with strength and perseverance, knowing that the outcome is in God's hands, and He is always faithful to fulfill His promises. This increased level of faith also brings a woman closer to her purpose. As her trust in God deepens, she will begin to recognize how everything in her life is being woven together to lead her toward the blessing He has in store. Her ability to believe God for the impossible will expand. Where she once doubted, she will now trust. Where she once hesitated, she will now step out boldly. This rising of faith is not just about the blessing, but about the woman herself being transformed. She is being prepared, not just to receive the blessing, but to handle it in a way that glorifies God. This faith is what will empower her to embrace the doors God opens, to walk through them without fear, and to stand firm when the road ahead seems unclear. When a woman's faith is raised to this level, it's no longer just about hoping for a good outcome. It's about knowing that God's will for her life is good, and that He is working all things together for her good. She no longer has to worry about whether God will come through, because she knows He is faithful, and that belief in His faithfulness sets her heart at rest. This is the faith that will carry her through the challenges, the doubt and the fear, and it will be the foundation upon which her blessing rests. This rise in faith is one of the clearest signs that God is preparing her for something far greater than she could ever imagine. Before God blesses a woman with something big, she will often experience a season of isolation. This period of being set apart can feel uncomfortable and at times even lonely, but it is an essential part of her preparation. While isolation can sometimes feel like a form of rejection or abandonment, it is in fact a time when God is doing deep and significant work in her life. During this time, He is refining her, drawing her closer to Him, and teaching her to rely on Him alone for her strength and guidance. It is a sacred time of deep intimacy with God, a time when distractions are minimized, and the noise of the world fades away, so that she can hear His voice more clearly. This isolation is not about being cut off from the world, in a negative sense. Rather, it's about God separating her for a higher purpose. It is a time for God to remove anything from her life that may hinder her from stepping into the fullness of the blessing He has planned for her. Old mindsets, unhealthy relationships, and distractions that could cloud her judgment or prevent her from fully trusting Him are often shed during this season. It's during this time that a woman is purified, and her faith is strengthened as she learns to depend on God more deeply. There may be moments during this period of isolation when she feels like she's on the outside looking in. She might witness others moving forward, achieving success, and receiving blessings, while she feels left behind or overlooked. This can be discouraging, and it may cause her to question why she is in this season of seeming solitude. But the truth is, this isolation is a time of divine preparation. God is building character within her, teaching her patience, endurance, and trust. He is also giving her the time and space she needs to focus on His calling for her life, without the distractions of others' opinions or external pressures. The isolation allows her to hear God's whispers more clearly, to receive His direction for the future, and to develop a deeper understanding of who she is in Him. This period may also involve moments of emotional and spiritual healing. There are wounds and scars from past experiences that God wants to heal, so that she can move forward without carrying the weight of those burdens. Isolation allows for this healing process to take place, where God can minister to her heart and restore her in ways that would not be possible in a busy, crowded life. It's a time of personal growth and transformation, a time when God works in the secret places of her heart to make her whole. Once this period of isolation has served its purpose, she will begin to notice that the feeling of being set apart is gradually lifting. She will step into a new season of purpose and fulfillment, one where the blessing God has been preparing her for can now be received. The isolation, though challenging, becomes a necessary part of the process that equips her to handle the weight and responsibility of the blessing that is coming. Through this time, God has been molding her, shaping her, and setting her up for what's to come. And when the season of isolation ends, she will be ready to walk into her blessing with strength, clarity, and purpose, knowing that God has been with her every step of the way. As God prepares to bless a woman with something big, one of the final signs she will experience is a sudden increase in opposition. This may seem counterintuitive, as one might think that blessings come without resistance. However, it is often during the season of preparation for something great that opposition becomes more pronounced. The greater the blessing, the greater the opposition. This resistance can come in many forms: personal challenges, doubts from others, criticism, or even spiritual warfare. It's important to understand that opposition is not a sign that God is not at work. Rather, it is a sign that something significant is on the horizon. The enemy will often fight the hardest just before the breakthrough, because he knows the magnitude of the blessing that is about to be released. This opposition may first appear in the form of external circumstances. There may be situations in her life that seem to get worse, just when she thought they were improving. Things that were once easy or straightforward may suddenly feel like uphill battles. Relationships that were once supportive may become strained. Financial struggles may intensify, or health issues may emerge unexpectedly. These external struggles are often the enemy's way of trying to sow doubt and fear into her heart, to convince her that the blessing is not worth pursuing or that God has abandoned her. It is in these moments that she must stand firm and remind herself that opposition is part of the process, not a sign of failure. Along with these external struggles, she may also face internal battles. Self-doubt, fear, and insecurity can arise as the weight of the upcoming blessing becomes clear. She might question whether she is truly worthy of such a blessing, or whether she is capable of handling what God is about to entrust her with. These are natural human feelings, but they must be overcome by the strength that comes from God alone. It is during this time that her faith will be tested, and she will be forced to rely on God more than ever. This is the refining fire that shapes her, purifies her, and strengthens her for the future. In the midst of this opposition, she must remember that the battle is not hers to fight alone. God has already gone before her, and He is with her every step of the way. His promises are true, and He will provide the strength she needs to overcome. It is through this opposition that she will learn to stand firm in her faith, knowing that her victory is already secured in Christ. She will begin to realize that the very opposition she faces is a confirmation that God is about to do something extraordinary in her life. Moreover, this increased opposition is often a reminder that the blessings God has in store are not just for her benefit, but for the advancement of His kingdom. As God's chosen vessel, she is positioned to be a light in dark places, and the opposition she faces is a reflection of the impact she will have. The enemy does not waste time fighting someone who is not a threat. When she begins to recognize that the opposition is a direct response to her purpose, she will find strength to press forward with renewed determination. In the end, this opposition is not a sign to give up, but a sign to push forward. It is the final test before the blessing. Once she overcomes this resistance, she will step into the fullness of what God has been preparing her for. The opposition, in the end, will serve to highlight the victory God is about to bring, making the blessing that much sweeter. As she stands firm and continues to trust God, the doors of favor and opportunity will open wide, and she will walk into her destiny, stronger, wiser, and more equipped than ever before. In conclusion, when God is about to bless a woman with something big, He begins to prepare her in ways that are often unseen and unexpected. The signs are clear, though, an inner stirring that cannot be ignored, a peace in the midst of chaos, doors opening where there once seemed to be no path, a rise in faith that moves mountains, a season of isolation for deep personal growth, and an increase in opposition that tests her resolve. These are all part of the divine preparation process, shaping her into the person who can receive the blessing He has planned. Through these signs, God is not only preparing her to receive something big, but also positioning her to walk into that blessing with grace, strength, and unwavering faith. Each step, each sign, is a confirmation that God is at work, moving her closer to her breakthrough. It is in this process that she becomes the woman He has called her to be, mature, strengthened, and equipped for the purpose He has set before her. The journey may not always be easy, but it is always purposeful. As she faces the challenges, doubts, and struggles along the way, she can rest assured that God is with her, guiding her every step of the way. The opposition is not a sign of defeat, but a sign that she is on the verge of something incredible. The blessing that God is preparing her for is beyond what she could ever imagine, and all of the trials and tests along the way are part of His perfect plan. So if you find yourself in this season, feeling stirred in your spirit, experiencing peace in the midst of chaos, watching doors open unexpectedly, and facing opposition, know this: God is preparing you for something big. Embrace the process, trust in His timing, and remember that He is always faithful. Your blessing is on the way, and you are being made ready to step into it. Stay strong, keep your faith firm, and walk in the assurance that God's plans for you are far greater than anything you could ever dream. The best is yet to come. May you be encouraged today, knowing that the signs you are seeing are the confirmations of a blessing that is just around the corner. Keep trusting, keep believing, and get ready for God to do something extraordinary in your life.